We're ready. I can promise you that we're ready. And I say we in the plural because it's not just me sitting on a couch randomly on Lake Martin in East Central Alabama. Bryant McFadden, BMAC is here as well. You've enjoyed yourself so far this
No
weekend.
question, no question.
And you've never been to a game at Auburn.
Nah, first time.
So, I mean, what are you feeling? You feel comfortable right now because we're on this deck, but going into Saturday, what do you feel?
Man, I feel college football at its best. You know, we're here in SEC country. Two outstanding, prestigious football programs going toe-to-toe. We saw what happened last year in Penn State, and remember how electrifying that atmosphere was. You better believe we will get that +2 here in Auburn and Jordan-Hare Stadium. So me personally, I'm fired up. This is college football. We've been waiting for this for a long, long time. Christmas is here. Go open all the gifts you have underneath your tree, and you better believe you will enjoy everything you open tomorrow watching these two teams go toe-to-toe.
I'm about to see if we can give them some gifts here.
Yes,
And I mean money. That's what I'm talking about.
That's the best gift you can receive, John.
It is. That's what Meemaw used to tell me all the time. So Tank Bigsby is a name that everyone's talking about, whether you're a Penn State fan or an Auburn fan. The starting tailback for the Auburn Tigers, feature back. He's got a prop bet out there, over under 77.5 rushing yards, and we can get to that in a second.
No question.
But just like last year when Auburn went up there, he's the focus. He's the straw that stirs the drink, so to speak. What do you think about his game, and what kind of game does he need to have this Saturday?
I love his game. He's a downhill runner. He's a guy who looks for contact. He's a guy that's very, very explosive, and he is a big playmaker for their offense. The expectations for Tank in this upcoming ball game, he has to dominate. He has to be one of the bigger difference makers for Auburn's offense because of their inability to throw the football. Let's keep it real. That has been the Achilles heel for Auburn's offense so far. In regards to that prop bet, what was the number again, John?
77.5.
77.5. You got your pocketbooks ready for all the women that are watching us. For the guys, you got your wallet. I'm giving you something right now to put in your wallet and your pocketbook. Take the over. And the reason why I'm taking the over is because Auburn, they can't throw the football, Josh. We know that. They can't throw. They're averaging under 200 yards per ball game in throwing the football. Do I expect to see a drastic change when it comes to that stat? No, sir. So guess who has to really carry the load for their offense? The guy you see right there in that highlight, number 4, Mr. Tank Bigsby. I think he's going to have a big-time ball game. And the thing that I like about this prop is it could be a bit high for some runners, but he has the ability to rope off a 40-yarder at any given time. And I think he will do so in tomorrow's matchup, so I'm taking the over.
It's got to happen. I mean,
It has to.
If Auburn's going to win now, this kind of correlates with the pick I have a little bit later on, but it's got to happen.
No
so
question.
if I got a way I feel the game's going, there is no Auburn win without an over 77.5 rushing yards.
I agree.
From Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see triple digits.
Yeah.
From Tank.
And it takes breaking one big one.
No question.
TJ Finley is the starting quarterback for Auburn right now. And there was a lot of talk in fall camp. Zach Calzada came in here. He transferred from Texas A&M. He's going to get the starting job. Well, then he didn't, because he didn't win the starting job in fall camp. And it's TJ Finley now. Now, so far, they've played a couple of big point spread games. And the offense has been pretty much bleh.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of concern. You know, we're here. We're just outside of Auburn right now.
No question.
Everyone's talking about how different the offense may look, or how many new wrinkles, how much new tempo maybe they inject. But let's talk about TJ Finley for a second. What does he have to do this Saturday?
Oh, my goodness. Number 1, TJ, play confident football. That's the thing I have yet to see from him. You got to believe in your ability. Number 2, you have players around you that can really make things easy for you if you just lean on them. Number 3, be smart with the football. That has been the knock on TJ so far this year. He's been turnover prone. 3 interceptions, not being very accurate. Decision-making ability has been in question. Just be smart with the football. I tell this, this is one thing I say all the time about quarterbacks. Everybody, you don't necessarily got to be Superman all the time. I'm okay with you being Clark Kent.
Yep.
Remember when you saw Clark Kent, he had his glasses on, he had his nice little bow tie and button-down shirt, and he was just doing things a smart way. That's what we need from TJ if you're an Auburn fan. You want to see TJ become Clark Kent in tomorrow's ball game. He don't have to put on the cape because we don't want that type of play from him or the attempts. Just be smart and understanding and knowing where you're supposed to go with the football, and just be the best decision maker on the football field in regards to quarterback play.
The most Clark Kent dude in college football is probably Sean Clifford, who's the quarterback for Penn State coming in here. And yet, sure enough, there's this little small drum beat, but there's this drum beat up in Penn State about how, well, we got a 5-star quarterback here. He's a true freshman. We got a step 5-star quarterback. We've seen him a couple of times in mop-up duty, and Drew Aller. And he's not starting tomorrow. Let's get that out of the way. Sean Clifford, though, doesn't have to come in here and throw for 350. probably needs to come in here and guide the offense. He started 2-0 for the second consecutive year. They went and got a win by hook or crook in week 1 against Purdue. And I feel like that dude is so feast or famine when people talk about him. They either talk about him as if he's a Heisman Trophy candidate, which he'll never be. It's not his game.
Yeah.
But then there's this other camp that just says, well, he's terrible. And in reality, he's probably just an above-average college football quarterback, and it may very well be good enough to win Saturday.
No question, because the quarterback play for Auburn has been so bad.
Yeah.
The thing about Sean Clifford, the emotional roller coaster, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. That scoring drive against Purdue, my goodness. He surprised me. I'm pretty sure he surprised a lot of Penn State fans as well to be able to come out on top. And those are the highlights that we've seen from Sean Clifford in his career at Penn State. Plays like the drives like the Purdue drive, and then, of course, some letdowns here and there. But so far this year, Mr. Clifford has been playing pretty good football. He bounced back from week 1, had an outstanding game against Ohio. Granted, he was supposed to, but look at his completion percentage there. And the most unique thing about him so far this season, Josh, in 2 ball games, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's been playing some pretty stout football. Now, he's playing against a defense, especially in this atmosphere, is going to be fired up. They're going to be fired up, so they're going to put him in very, very difficult situations. They're going to try to make him uncomfortable. Will he be able to showcase his experience? Because he is the most experienced player on both sides of the football field, and he has to be able to showcase that as well, in my opinion.
There's a prop bet out there now that I'm interested in an under on. So his over-under passing touchdowns for tomorrow is 1.5. Not total, friends. Passing touchdowns. And I had to look at that. I think even if Penn State puts 21 or 28 on the board, 2 of them aren't passing touchdowns. So I took the under on this.
Ooh, I was back and forth with this prop in regards to Sean's passing touchdowns. But you know where I'm going, Josh? I'm going over, and here's why. I think there could be some garbage touchdown opportunities for Mr. Clifford. And we've seen that. One thing about Sean Clifford, he will play for 4 quarters, regardless if they're involved in the ball game, if it's competitive, or if it's not. This is a guy, he would be a great fantasy quarterback for college football because he can give you garbage fantasy points. And I do believe we will see potentially a garbage-like touchdown in this ball game in favor of Sean Clifford being able to eclipse this total. So me personally, Josh is taking the under. I'm taking the over. I think we will see a garbage-like touchdown and be able to get 2 passing TDs for Mr. Sean Clifford.
It's going to be a garbage-like win for you if it happens that way. I'm going to tell you that.
I'll take it.
I'm looking at the Penn State secondary. Been looking at it all week. Joey Porter Jr. is just, he's a name that I think is an anchor of that defense. He's got some legitimacy about his credentials now. He's been around a little while. And so let's just talk about this, because just because you don't expect maybe a TJ Finley to bomb away on the secondary, that doesn't mean that secondary doesn't have to be very active, because it could very well be that Auburn comes out and tests the quick stuff on the perimeter to try and manufacture some yards on the ground. So I'm really interested to see how that plays out. You played the position. I mean, it's more than just defending the deep ball.
It's more than defending the deep ball. It's more than creating PBUs. You got to be an all-around football player. And that's the thing I love about Joey Porter Jr. I played with his father, so I know what type of fire Joey Porter Sr. used to display on the football field. And we're seeing the same things from his son and Joey Porter Jr. The most unique thing about this particular ball game, Josh, you hit on it. We don't expect to see a lot of aggressive play calling in regards to throwing the football for Auburn. But they will take shots. And they will try to get the ball out on the perimeter in the edges of Penn State's defense. Will the guys in the secondary be able to tackle? Will they be able to showcase that they're all-around football player? Joey Porter has everything you want from a corner. He has the length, he has the size, he has the measurables, of course, the speed, and the nastiness. He gets that from his father, by the way.
It's time. We're looking at 3.5 right now, by the way, not 3. We're off that square number, 3.5. And our over-under here is dropped, and you know how rarely I use this word, precipitously during the week, all the way down to 43.5. So, Bryant McFadden.
Yes, sir.
With everything you own on the line.
Yes, sir.
In the most irresponsible of fashion.
Yes, sir.
Give me a pick and give me a total.
I'm going to give you a pick. And like I said, I hope y'all got your pocketbooks ready for the women and in your wallet for the men. One thing I know about this, when it comes to betting, you got to take your time. You can't just rush into it because you're going to lose a lot of money. That ain't good, right? You got to study the game, not just watch the game as a fan, but study it. Then also study the numbers. One thing I love in favor of Auburn is that Penn State, they're 1-6 ATS in their last 7 games versus an SEC opponent. Long story short, anytime they play against an SEC team, they don't cover. Guess what? Last time I checked, Josh, Auburn, what conference they live in?
They're in that SEC conference.
They're in that SEC. You heard them. SEC. So I'm taking Auburn. I don't even want the points, but if you want to give me the points, I take. But I think this is going to be a money line sprinkle, as you say, drizzle for the Tigers. And then I'm taking the under. I don't believe in either offense. I think we will see better defensive play from both sides than offensive play. So with that being said, I think we're going to see a low-scoring game. So I'm just giving you double dip right now. You know what I mean? You know how you get your chicken nuggets? You might want to dip it in some sweet and sour sauce or barbecue or ketchup. I'm giving you something to double dip right now. Take the spread with Auburn, or if you want to do money line, and take the under. That's my play.
Auburn plus points. Auburn flat out under.
We're thinking alike.
This is synergy. That's what that's called.
I love it.
It's so pristine,
U-N-I-T-Y.
and it's so clean right now that I'm supposed to do a promo for this podcast we got called All Things Covered. I'm not even going to do it. I'm going to let you do it.
Man, no question. You heard what the man said. It's time. All Things Covered, baby. One of the best podcasts out there in the land with my guy, future Hall of Famer Patrick Peterson. You can find us anywhere where podcasts are to be found, not to mention YouTube. So you want to see my pretty smile, my good teeth.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.